children of the sun. Our story's not over, it's just begun. From Timbuktu to the streets of Soweto, Africa speaks and the world must echo. Strength of Africa, we stand. United like the truth, we break the waters, carve the land. Try to weaken, the lions stand. But unity is Africa's song.
Family, let me ask you a question. What is Africa's greatest fear? Or rather, what is the world's greatest fear about Africa? It is not poverty. It is not instability. It is not corruption. The greatest fear is this: a united Africa. Because a united Africa means strength. It means independence. It means no more control from the outside. But listen carefully. History shows us that whenever Africa comes close to unity, global powers panic. They trembled. When Nkrumah called for the United States of Africa in 1963, Western newspapers branded him a dreamer and a dictator. When Gaddafi championed a single African currency backed by gold, NATO warplanes silenced him. Why? Because unity threatens the world order. It challenges centuries of exploitation. It disrupts systems designed to keep Africa dependent. Today, family, we dig deep into why the world trembles at the thought of Africa rising together as one. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Depending on where you are at this moment, I still remain your host, Adebayo Oladokun, and this is Strength of Africa TV, where truth meets courage, where the past is reawakened and the future of the motherland is reclaimed. Today's episode is titled Africa versus the World: Why They Fear a United Africa. Long before social media, long before today's youth movements, great African visionaries carried one dream in their hearts. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, Sekou Touré of Guinea. They called it Pan-Africanism. They believed that Africa could only be strong if it was one. One continent, one voice, one destiny. Nkrumah called it the United States of Africa. Imagine it: a federation of African nations standing together with one army, one currency, one agenda. In 1963, when the Organization of African Unity, OAU, was formed in Addis Ababa, Nkrumah pleaded with African heads of states.
We must unite now or perish. Without unity, Africa will remain at the mercy of imperialists.
But not all leaders agreed. Some feared losing national power. Some preferred slow cooperation instead of immediate union. That division, my family, kept the dream from being realized and materialized. But now picture this: 1.4 billion people, the youngest population on earth, with 70% under the age of 30, the most resource-rich continent in history. Imagine Africa negotiating oil prices as a bloc, just as OPEC does. Imagine a single African currency that prevents the manipulation of exchange rates. Imagine a continental passport allowing free movement from Cape Town to Cairo, from Lagos to Addis Ababa. This is not fantasy. The African Union has already started with the AfCFTA, that is, the African Continental Free Trade Area. It connects 54 nations and over 3 trillion in GDP, making it the largest free trade zone in the world. That's the first step toward economic unity. Unity, my family, is not just an idea. It's Africa's destiny. So why does the world fear this dream? Why is unity seen as a threat? The answer is simple: because a united Africa means unstoppable power. Now, Number one reason is economic power. Africa holds 40% of the world's gold, 90% of chromium, 60% of cobalt, the key ingredient in your smartphone batteries and electric cars. The Democratic Republic of Congo alone holds over $24 trillion worth of untapped minerals. Yet, Congolese children still mine cobalt by hand for Western tech giants. Nigeria has 37 billion barrels of proven oil reserves. South Africa hosts 80% of the world's platinum. Guinea has the world's largest bauxite reserves, the ore that produces aluminium. If Africa unites, no foreign country can dictate the prices of our resources. No multinational can steal our wealth. We will set our own prices on our own terms. And number two, political power. A united Africa will no longer depend on aid from the IMF or World Bank, institutions that designed to keep us indebted. Think about it. Africa pays over $25 billion annually in debt servicing to external creditors. That money could build schools, hospitals, and industries. Yet, it flows outward, feeding economies that once colonized the continent. A united Africa could fund its own development. It could protect its own borders. Imagine one African military force like NATO defending African soil. No foreign army would dare step up bases in Djibouti, Mali, or Somalia. No one would bomb Libya or invade Congo without facing the might of one united defense. Number three, cultural power. Even now, Africa's culture already moves the world. Afrobeats fills global stadiums. Amapiano shakes dance floors from Lagos to London. Nollywood produces more films annually than Hollywood. African writers from Chinua Achebe to Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie shape global literature. African fashion influences catwalks in Paris, Milan, and New York. Our food, from jollof rice to injera, is celebrated worldwide. Chinua Achebe once wrote, "Until the lions have their own historians, the history of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." A united Africa will reclaim its own story, no longer victims, but victors. My family, let's be real. The truth is, they do not fear Africa because it is weak. They fear Africa because it is strong, and that strength is waking up. But there is a challenge. If unity is Africa's greatest weapon, then division is the enemy's greatest tool. They divided us through colonial borders. In 1884, at the Berlin Conference, European powers sat around a table and carved Africa into pieces. Not one African was invited. The result? Borders that cut across tribes, languages, and cultures. Borders designed to divide, not unite. They divided us through language and religion. Today, we still speak of Francophone Africa, Anglophone Africa, Lusophone Africa. Do you see the trick? Even our identities are tied to Europe, not Africa. They divided us through external interference. The IMF and World Bank still dictate policies. Loans come with conditions that cripple African industries. Military bases from France, the US, and China sit on African soil, and they divided us through media narratives. Turn on the news, and what do you see? Poverty, war, corruption, disease. Rarely do they show Africa's innovation, resilience, or triumphs. Every time a leader rose with the spirit of unity, what happened? Patrice Lumumba of Congo, assassinated in 1961. Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso, gunned down in 1987 for daring to say Africa should be self-reliant. Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, overthrown and killed in 2011 after calling for a Pan-African gold-backed currency. Sylvanus Olympia of Togo, murdered in 1963 for refusing to tie its economy to the French CFA currency. The message is clear. Unity is the red line. That is why they fear most. And that is what they fear most. But listen to me, my family. Africa is rising again. Across the continent, young people are demanding sovereignty. They are saying no to neocolonialism. They are saying no to puppet governments. Look at Burkina Faso under Ibrahim Traoré. At just 36 years old, he is rejecting French domination and calling for African self-determination. Look at Rwanda. Rising from the ashes of genocide, it now stands as one of Africa's fastest growing economies. It ranks among the easiest places to do business in Africa. Look at the AfCFTA. With 54 nations signed on, it connects a $3.4 trillion market and could lift 30 million people out of extreme poverty by 2035. Look at Africa's culture. Burna Boy, Wizkid, and Thames topping Billboard's charts. Black Panther and the Woman King, bringing African stories to Nollywood and Hollywood. Tech hubs in Lagos, Nairobi, and Kigali, attracting billions in investments. The Pan-African fire is burning once more. Family, Africa is not asleep anymore. From Accra to Lagos, from Dakar to Johannesburg, from Nairobi to Bamako, the drums of unity are beating. My family, let me leave you with this truth. The world fears a united Africa because they know what we can become. We are the root of humanity. We are the source of wealth. We are the rhythm of culture. We are the womb of civilization. But Africa must fear only one thing: disunity. So, to you, my brothers and sisters, to all Africa both at home and in diaspora, the work of unity begins with us. It begins with how we see ourselves. It begins with how we support each other. It begins with how we rise above the walls they built to divide us. As Julius Nyerere once said, unity will not make us rich, but it can make it difficult for Africa and the African peoples to be disregarded and humiliated. My family, the future is African, and the world knows it, and that's why they fear. My brothers and sisters, my fellow Africans, if you found value in this conversation, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Deezer. In the next episode, I promise we'll go deeper than this. And until then, tell your own story, because Africa's future is written in African ink. Stay strong, stay united, stay rooted, and stay African. Thank you. See you in the next episode. Once again, this is Strength of Africa TV, and I still remain your host, Adebayo Oladokun. Bye for now.
Between the borders, carve the land. Try to weaken the lion's stand. The unity is Africa's song.